What's good, man?
Yo, what's poppin', what's poppin'?
Let's go ahead and get started. So, tell me your name. Who are you?
Yeah, my name is Bash. My real name is Sebastian. But you know what I'm saying? You don't gotta call me my real name, you just call me Bash. Yeah.
Okay, got you. So, Bass came from Sebastian. Okay,
hmm
bet. So, how'd you get started in music, bro?
Bro, I've been making music for like 8 years.
Mhm,
I was in the orchestra from like middle school all the way to college.
mhm,
And so I've always been like musically inclined. My dad, he made music. He plays the piano, so it's just like music really has just been in the DNA for real. And so
mhm. So you grew up around it, type.
yeah, I just grew up around music. You know, growing up, I didn't listen to like a lot of actual music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I came up in the phase of like, MP3 players, just the USB stick them in, LimeWire and shit. Get the music. But I don't know, just growing up, I didn't really listen to a lot of music. And so it's like when I got into orchestra, that was my music. Like that's kind of like what I would hear all the time before I
Mhm,
started hearing like rap music, R&B music, and stuff
mhm.
like that.
So, like, I know you started in orchestra, but what genre do you kind of put yourself in, and then how do you go from orchestra into that genre?
I was actually thinking about this the other day. Like, I think my music, my whole, my music is like a representation of my personality. And so it's like, some of my music is gonna make you really feel good, and then some of my music is gonna make you feel deeply. Really have a lot of emotions. And then some music is just kind of like ironic. It's just funny. And so it's like I take my music and I just put it into a ball of like expression. It's like when you listen to it, it's like you got all this expression inside. You put your headphones on, it's a lot of expression. But then it's like when you perform it live, it's like when people really understand it, it's just like a release. That's kind of how the orchestra is. It's like you wait for the big moment, and then boom, and then like the crowd knows, everybody knows, it's just boom, it's expansion, it's just big.
Mhm. So you mentioned that your music is an extension of your personality and emotions attached to it. I know you got a couple projects out. Would you say like those projects are inspired by those emotions, each one, or is like each project just a culmination of all different moments, all different emotions during that era of each project?
Yeah, I would say like my music's kind of bipolar. Like one moment I may be feeling like this, one moment I may be feeling like that. But each album is basically like an era. Like certain people were around me at the time, certain inspirations, just the environment, just being stuck in one place. It's just a culmination of everything of that time period. And then it's just like every time you listen to an album, every time you listen to an EP, you really got to dive deep into like, yo, what was going on in Bash life at that time, and it'll just the emotion, it just lines up, it aligns, because with my music I really pretty transparent with it.
hmm So like, is there any project you have, whether it be a collection of songs, an album, or EP, or just a single, that is the most, how can you say, most emotional for you, or the most pivotal for you, or just like I remember exactly how I was feeling and exactly what was going on, and this like was really this song, this project really represents exactly what I was going through and feeling and experiencing.
Yeah, I think Naked Nights is like a tape of frustration. Like when you think back, you go all the way to the beginning within a year, or it's really like this is where I will be. I'm speaking to the future. This is what will happen. And it's like Naked Nights is like you caught me in the moment. It's just a lot of frustration in those tracks, and it's just like going through 2024 to 2025. Some of the songs from 2023. It's just like that time period is just it really felt like I was just climbing up an endless wall, and it would never stop. And it's just like as I was making songs through that period, you can just hear it in the songs. Just like, bro, like this shit sucks right now, but it's like again, it will get better. So
hmm
yeah.
So talk me through your creative process in terms of like when you're making a song. Are you the type that you like to write your stuff down, then go up on the mic, You kind of like think about it, or is it kind of like you just set aside time, and then when it's that time, you just go ahead and you just almost like freestyle it almost? How do you kind of come up with a new single?
Yeah, I mean, in the past, previously, it's just like having the proper beats, having proper beat selection for, the time period. As I'm getting older, as I'm wanting to just go deeper into the music, I find myself wanting to, hear more real instruments. I find myself wanting to learn how to play instruments better. Obviously I can do viola, but like piano and stuff, because it's like what I'm finding is like everybody's not on the same wave as I may be at a certain time. But usually, like, it's just I hear a beat and it's like, yo, this represents this time period. This represents this emotion. This represents how I'm feeling right now. And so I just take those beats and I build on them. I may freestyle with it when I'm in the booth. I may freestyle with it, or I may write it down if I really want it to mean something. If the beat is really touching me, I write it down and just tell the story properly. But if I'm feeling a lot of emotions, I'll just get it out on the track, and then that's what you get.
So when it comes to like your beat selection, are there particular type of sounds? I know you mentioned instruments you're starting to dabble into. Are there particular type of instruments you're looking for, or like you tend to gravitate towards?
It's like classical, bro. Like, I don't like shit that doesn't sound like expensive. Like, when I'm in the orchestra, I'm hearing expensive instruments. Some of these guys, they got instruments passed down from generations, and I don't know if you know much about that, but it's like the older your instrument is, the better it sounds. The tone is better, and so it's like I don't like shit that sounds cheap. All of my songs, I want it to sound expensive. I want it to sound like this is where you want to be.
So it's safe to say that you feel like you want your projects, your work, and your artistry, anything you create, you want people to feel the investment.
Yes.